All right, my guest today is Andrew McAfee. Andrew is a returning guest to the podcast, and he is an author, he's an inventor, he's a teacher, and now he's a licensed electrician. If you have low frequency issues in your home associated with the power lines, I don't know of a better resource to recommend. Andrew is going to talk to us today about a very important initiative that's going on. So, Andrew, welcome back to the EMF Remedy podcast.
Thank you very much, Keith. It is an honor to be with you. I'm always comforted by your voice and your wisdom.
Let's get right into it. What is Green Bank and what is this radio quiet zone?
Yeah, Green Bank is a very small town in West Virginia where there's a Green Bank Observatory. It's the world's largest radio telescope. You can see it here in the picture. And the radio quiet zone is technically a very large area that's protected under the FCC. But recently, the Green Bank Observatory has enacted a new policy that they're not objecting to 2.4 gigahertz now in the environment. So there is a state law that covers a 10-mile radius, and you'll see on the screen that that's very tight around the telescope. And there are very, very strict rules, but the most important part I want to express is this is state law. This is not FCC. And as far as I know, it is only the only state that has a very, very stringent state law that protects this area, but it has to be activated or engaged by the observatory. No stranger off the street, or I can't call up the Pocahontas County attorney and say, hey, I'm being radiated. That's not what the law is for. It's to protect the telescope. So now that the new 2.4 gigahertz policy has been, enacted by the GBO, I believe it is the end of the radio quiet zone. The infrastructure for citywide Wi-Fi, for cell phone towers, especially smart meters, can all utilize the 2.4 gigahertz radio signal. And there would be nothing stopping them if the observatory is not regulating that frequency anymore. So I believe our investment, our property, our health will be, destroyed, I think, within a year that it takes for that infrastructure to move in.
How important is it for people to get to a pristine environment?
Well, I think you've done a great job of illuminating the before and after effects and the extremely subtle changes that can happen over time that people won't even know. But I've traced my own entering in, staying a few days, exiting out, coming back to civilization, and over time, the my immune system, my histamine response, my sleep coordination, all of these factors that have over 2 years of doing this, going to my property there, and the very significant changes in my health have been startling to me. I didn't realize how much, but now I can express to other people, sure, you need to come up for a couple of days. I say 3 days minimum to allow your immune system to go through this transition. And for me, it is essential for anyone to recover from any advanced disease. Without this purity, the body cannot heal. Yeah, I believe it is an infection that we are fighting. Now, this gets quite controversial, but let me sort it out. Great research has been shown by Dr. Sharon Goldberg on how certain frequencies, like 2.4 gigahertz, will increase an infection. And she has specific results with E. coli, which is, our waste products, and uh, whether it's Staph aureus, we're talking about MRSA. The hospital is like a number one bacterial problem with antibiotics, and you've got other staph infections and pneumonia and other types of infections that are increased around both cell phone and Wi-Fi frequencies. And her research, I believe, is critically important to understand because everybody's focusing on, well, thermal standards. What is the cell response around this energy? I want to change the entire discussion to we're just talking about bacterial infections and we're responding to when the bacteria feel stressed, they put out poisons, they cause inflammation, they cause these other markers, headaches, pain, inflammation, all these other diseases, diabetes, heart. Everybody's having heart problems now. Now, we can get into other topics, but just focusing on the radiation and bacteria is enough to explain a lot of diseases. MS is a huge one um, related to the exposure to wireless frequencies.
So we have this national treasure, I'll call it that, which is the radio quiet zone. And you've personally experienced, I only wish that I could experience going down there and being able to drive around and feel great again, like we did when we were children before there was this reckless spread of harmful man-made electromagnetic radiation. And we need to keep it. We need to keep it. We need to hold on to this. So you're partnering with Children's Health Defense, and you're looking for funding, correct? And
Yes,
take us
I
through
have
what you'd like to see happen.
I have engaged personally, individually, the lawyers and legal team at Children's Health Defense to upgrade the state law to include human beings, not just protect from interference to the radio telescope. So Children's Health Defense has a dedicated page for this specific action. If you give tax deductible donations, there is a page exactly all of that money goes to protect the National Radio Quiet Zone. Now you can make the argument, well, it's not really the National Radio Quiet Zone; it's a smaller part of it, but it affects the whole. Anybody that lives in that area is going to feel the benefits of what we do here. So by making a donation, you're going to be um, covering basically the legal fees. I have $15,000 due in 90 days, and I've already got a good start with a couple of strong donors locally that are landowners and people that are passionate. But it's going to take a lot more after that because then they have the lobbying effect that's going to kick in after the legal. The lobbying fees are not going to be paid by the legal fees to actually make something work in the House legislature and with lobbying. Everybody knows here how slimy that can be, and making sausages is not pretty. So it's going to be a long battle, but I believe, this is it. This is the place if anybody's going to invest a on one project to be the marker for the country, in my opinion, this has the best chance. There's no infrastructure, there's no cell phone towers. There's already a long tradition of having a protected area and people living there under the assumption, well, the cell phones don't work here. So you don't have to change a lot of things. It's already built in. You already have the laws, you already have the West Virginia state law. It's already built in. All we have to transform it is to protecting humans rather than just interference.
Wonderful. So we have a link, and we're going to put that in the description so people can easily make a donation. Do you have any final thoughts on this? And then I want to say a few words.
Absolutely. I am also the board president of what's called Safe Home. We help people that are electrically sensitive move to Green Bank and find safe housing, which is really, really hard. The power grid is ugly in Green Bank, just like everywhere else. So you need to have a solution for the power grid. And you get benefits becoming a member. And if you want to visit Green Bank, you're welcome to do that anytime. But if you want to stay, it's very difficult. And allow us to help you. And Safe Home has a mechanism to do that. So with that said, you know, in my belief, this is the best investment people can make in their healthy future for a place where they can both recover, go to, recuperate, but also if you want to invest in a retirement place that you want to go and live, I think now is the time, and this is the best place because I believe if we secure this, if we get this place, the property right, the property values will skyrocket.
Yeah, well, it's a limited commodity. Um, there's not going to be any more protected land, uh, protected by law, obviously.
Yep.
All right. So, and I want to say a few words here. Now, I'm not really happy with everything that Children's Health Defense has done in the last year. I have a couple of concerns, but I want to make it very clear that I support this initiative. In fact, I don't know anybody who is better suited to handle this from a legal perspective than Children's Health Defense. So, this initiative has my full support. Further, I don't know anybody who is better suited to drive this from an industry perspective. This safe home initiative that you were just talking about, absolutely marvelous the way that integrates. I know from personal experience and from working with many people how important it is that folks can get to a pristine environment, and we need to preserve this one. And so, putting my money where my mouth is, I made a generous contribution this morning, minutes after I found out, minutes after I got the email on this. So I want to ask you, dear friends who are listening, are you going to just listen? Or are you going to take action? Because this isn't going to happen by itself. And we've got to invest if we want to keep this national treasure. So I want to encourage you, please, if you are able, donation, large or small, and I will put the link in the description, both on YouTube as well as my weekly audio podcast. So, Andrew, thank you so much for coming on and talking to us about this initiative.
It's been my pleasure. And Keith, thank you so very much for your commitment and the work that you do. It's invaluable.